These cautious animals usually avoid the proximity of humans. However, irritated, wounded, or very frightened, they furiously rush at the enemy. Running away, they reach speeds of up to 40 kilometers per hour and then strike with their horns. Due to their enormous strength and mass, rhinos can cause severe injuries to humans. The bite of a yellow scorpion is considered extremely dangerous. The venom secreted by these scorpions contains a strong mixture of neurotoxins that can cause intense and unbearable pain, subsequently leading to fever, coma, seizures, paralysis, and death. The warthog is considered the most poisonous fish in the world and poses a great danger to swimmers who may step on it and injure themselves on its sharp needles. The venom of this fish causes severe pain with possible shock, paralysis, and tissue death depending on the depth of penetration. With deep penetration, prick can be fatal for the person if he was not given medical attention within a few hours. If the prickle enters a large blood vessel, death can occur in 2 to 3 hours. Survivors are sometimes sick for months. During the rutting period, these bulls can be extremely fierce. They can attack people or carelessly approaching the animal, so it is better to stay away from them. Each year, poisonous snakes kill about 100,000 people, and among the victims more than half are children. It should be noted that bites for children are much more dangerous than for adults. Too much venom falls on a small body mass. Adult person also can die if his immune system is weak, but more often he will get away with severe pain, loss of usual ability to work for a while. For some time, bitten limb will be swollen and puffy. Poison affects the child very quickly, so you need to take action to save the child immediately. There are a lot of snakes on our planet. Only the species are more than 2,500. Only in Antarctica they are not found, but there are also a few equally blessed places with a warmer climate. For example, on small islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, on very small islets in the Atlantic. In some cases, the absence of venomous snakes is nothing short of a miracle. For example, they are absent in New Zealand and Ireland, and also on a small patch of 50 or 100 kilometers around the Trinity Sergius Lavra. There is a legend that 700 years ago, Saint Sergius of Rhaetien's age offered prayers and asked the Lord for help. During the construction of the monastery, the workers were pestered by poisonous vipers, and all the vipers disappeared on a small patch covered with virgin forests. There are no snakes in these places to this day. If you go in either direction for 30 or 40 kilometers, vipers in the woods and fields will be found almost at every step. Only there is no need to go up to them to look closely and establish to what species this or that reptile belongs. Let specialists do such things. They are good at it, but even for professionals, a close acquaintance with snakes sometimes ends sadly. A snake is a master of deceptive maneuvers. An ordinary person who has not prepared for an attack may not have time to defend himself from a bite of a tick, one of the three, and in general there are about 50,000 species of ticks. A person may not die, but it is impossible to call his further life full. Such terrible diseases ticks bring to people. The tick has no enemies in nature. It is fine everywhere in any climatic zone, therefore it has settled everywhere except Antarctica. Animals and humans need to beware of 3 species of this arthropod spider: Gamasso, Argoso, and Ixodid mites. The latter are the most numerous, with almost 250 subspecies alone. Only in Russia annually registers about 10,000 cases of tick-borne encephalitis, and worldwide this figure looks even more frightening. In addition to the killer disease encephalitis, ticks infect with tularemia, cu fever, rickettsiosis, monocytic ehrlichiosis, granulocytic anaplasmosis, borreliosis, and many other diseases, each of which threatens rapid or gradual disability and even death. The same family of the fowl. The wolverine looks like both a badger and a bear. Its way of life is so secretive that scientists know very little about this animal. But the hunters in the taiga, met with a wolverine, may not return home, despite the presence of a variety of weapons. It is very clever, cunning, stubborn, never retreats with all its inherent caution. If started to chase, there's no escape and no hiding and no fighting back. The wolverine's jaws grind deer bones to a crumb. No animal in the forest will cross its path. And for a man it can be more dangerous than any other animal in the forest. She cannot be frightened, cannot be stopped. A strong and ferocious predator, not in vain called a forest demon. Identifying the most dangerous creatures does not seem to be difficult. The first thing people think of is a bear, or wolf, a lion, or a tiger. Some fear elephants, rhinos, or hippos. Of course, the size of these wild animals is impressive and can instill terror. However, no one has guessed yet. No, and not sharks are considered the most dangerous. From their merciless teeth around the world, about 20 people die each year. So says the statistics. This, of course, is a lot. But there is a truly dangerous creature, a real maniac, killing people by the millions every year. All the tigers and all the bears in the world, together with all the other predators and venomous snakes, do not make even a tenth of that number of victims. Here he is, the real killer, listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most dangerous creature on the planet for his atrocities. You think? What's so scary about him? A common mosquito, just as small as the others. The body is just as elongated, the proboscis is small and thin, and the legs are long. But every year after the bite of such a mosquito, a huge number of people become ill with malaria, 500 million. Of these, from 1.5 to 3 million people can no longer survive. 50,000 years the malaria mosquito infects people with this terrible disease. In Russia the disease is not widespread, the cold climate in this case should be rejoiced. But all the densely populated tropical countries, Asia, Oceania, South America, Africa, here, especially, suffer terrible losses, and cannot cope with this scourge. Scientists suggest that many famous personalities died from the malarial mosquito. For example, the traveler Christopher Columbus, the poet Dante Alighieri, the warlord Genghis Khan, and even Alexander the Great himself.